I often talk very candidly about my own life on this channel. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I always have done. And I do that for one main reason, that I like to get to know people. I let people get to know me, and I hope that I get to know them in return. I hope that when I talk about my life and my experiences, people will open up to me. Or they will at least find something useful in what I have to say that they can maybe apply to their own life or use as advice to give to other people, which is why I'm going to here talk a little bit about depression and anxiety. I have been taking antidepressants for the last 3.5 months, and they have saved my life. But they haven't just saved my life, they've changed my life. They have turned me into not a different person, but the best version of myself, at least in my opinion. When I was a child, 11, 12, 13 years old, I think I had depression, but I didn't realize it. I didn't think about it. When I was in sixth form, university, so the ages of 16 to 21-ish, I was an incredibly happy-go-lucky, hedonistic, carefree person. I was bubbly, I was annoying, I didn't really have a care in the world. I didn't worry about anything. I enjoyed my studies, I enjoyed my friends, I enjoyed my free time. Everything was great. Then when I was 22, I became a high school teacher, and I fell into a pit of depression and anxiety that I cannot describe. It was a really painful 2 years. Then I moved to Shanghai. My depression was lifted, but it was replaced by something that didn't go away for a long time, and that was anxiety. I had crippling anxiety the entire time I lived in Shanghai, and that anxiety manifested as anger issues. I would often lash out, not in any dangerous way, but I would snap and get angry and irritated, and it was all just anxiety. And I lived like that for years and years. My anxiety would ebb and flow, it would dip, it would disappear entirely, it would eventually come back, and it was very easy for that anxiety to creep in if one tiny thing went wrong in my life. It took years and years for me to realize that it was anxiety at all, because society doesn't talk about these things enough. These days, I cannot open YouTube, I cannot read a news website, I cannot open TikTok without seeing very soon someone talking about anxiety and depression, as well as neurodiversity and queerness and the relationship between all of these things. But between the ages of 25 and 30, I really was a bit too clueless about my own mental health, my own neurodiversity, and my own queerness. Through the pandemic, I tried to figure myself out as quickly and precisely and succinctly as I could. My sexuality, my gender identity, the fact that I have ADHD, all of these things came together and allowed me to understand myself better. But my mental health was still a wreck. I still had anxiety and I was still capable of falling into depression. A few months ago, an enormous shift happened in my life, and I fell into a valley of depression that I didn't think I could ever claw my way out of. I was frightened. I was frightened for myself and frightened of myself. I felt the lowest I had ever felt. I was terrified. At this point, I finally decided to go on antidepressants. Now, I have to admit something, which is that a year ago, I went on these same antidepressants I'm on now, and they did incredible things. I take 20 milligrams of citalopram. I don't know what it's called in the US. Drugs have different names. But I was on 10 milligrams of citalopram, which is an incredibly low dose, what GPs apparently call a half dose. I was on that through the summer of 2021, and it did really good things for my mental health. It didn't cure everything, but it helped me, and I thought, right, this has gotten me out of my anxious head. I'll come off of it. I feel better now, thanks drugs. No, that's not how this works. I'm not a chemist, I'm not a biologist, but as I understand it from the research I've done, I have a chemical imbalance in my brain that requires drugs to level me out. SSRIs save lives, and that's what I'm on. So over Christmas, I had incredible anxiety. I developed what we used to call hypochondria, and we now call illness anxiety. I developed a physical illness, which I still have. I have dreadful sinus pain and sinus problems, which GPs just don't care about helping me with, but that's fine. It doesn't cripple me. And then that big change that I mentioned happened, and I decided to go back on citalopram and take a real dose this time, 20 milligrams, which, as far as I understand it, is pretty much the lowest dose to actually do anything to you. And for the last 3.5 months, I've been taking citalopram, and it has saved my life. It allowed me to find the strength to crawl out of this pit of depression. It allowed me to get a handle on my anxiety. I felt like I could take the reins and control it, tame it, own it rather than it owning me. And now I'm going to stay on citalopram for the foreseeable future, for as long as I need to, maybe forever. A lot of people who are on antidepressants and anxiety medication are on it forever because it fixes your brain. The drug that I'm on specifically can be used for depression or anxiety. I would say that I struggle more with anxiety than depression, but I have a predisposition to fall into depression, which I have now done maybe 2 or 3 times in my life. But anxiety is pretty much an ongoing, consistent thing. The reason I'm talking about this now is because there might be people out there who are watching this video who are depressed or anxious, who aren't sure what to do, who can't afford therapy, just like I can't really, who maybe are having therapy and it's not really doing its job. And I just wanted to talk about the ways in which these antidepressants have saved me. I'm not an ambassador for any drug companies. That would be weird. I'm just relaying my experiences. Over the course of the past 3 months, I have become a very likable person. At least as far as I can tell. I get along with my friends better, I've met somebody, and I've become someone that I like. What's really nice is that I get very, very, very bogged down by politics. I am frightened of the way that fascism has crept into the UK. There are so many things happening in my country right now that are entirely fascistic, and I am terrified. But because I'm on these antidepressants, I feel full of a righteous anger. Rather than just being depressed by the whole thing and feeling hopeless, I feel excited to try and pull my weight and do things that could make our country better. I feel like I have the energy to make a difference, or at least cope with what's happening, rather than just feeling paralyzed by it. But also, thanks to being on these antidepressants, I can still enjoy my life. I was thinking just the other day about how angry I am about the current Tory government and the laws that they've been passing, while also thinking, God, I love my job. I love my life. I'm enjoying every single day. I love the things that I write. I love the videos that I make. I love my audience. I love it all. I am full of love for the things in my life, for my friends, for my family. I feel absolutely full of love and anger, but I don't feel full of hate or sorrow, or emptiness. None of that. I feel full of love and anger is a powerful tool. Anger gets things done. And these feel like very positive, healthy things. We should be angry right now, and I feel that anger very intensely. But I also feel joy and excitement, positivity and love. And I think I am able to feel these things because I am on this wonderful anti-anxiety, antidepressant medication. It has allowed me to see things clearly, enjoy things, understand things better, relax better, read more, enjoy my friends, enjoy my life, regardless of the weather, regardless of any small thing that might have just pissed me off before. For the first 2 weeks that I was on these antidepressants, things got worse, and I was warned this by my doctor. For the first 2 weeks, as they blend with your brain chemistry and everything starts to even out, there are some weird side effects. And I'm going to mention the ones that I felt, just in case you are interested and you are tempted to go on antidepressants or anxiety medication. One of them was blurred vision. I don't have a car, but I sometimes rent one, and I didn't feel comfortable with driving for those 2 weeks because my vision was quite blurred. Luckily, I barely ever drive. And then that blurring went away. I also had extremely vivid nightmares, which sometimes still happen, but I wouldn't call them nightmares. I just have extremely vivid dreams these days, and I've never been much of a dreamer. But I still have very, very vivid and strange and surreal dreams, and in those 2 weeks, they were nightmares. I felt that my depression lifted really quickly, and that might have been a placebo effect, because I was excited to go back on these pills. But my anxiety got worse. I was very shaky, very nervous, restless. I had a lot of trouble falling asleep and staying asleep, so I had a little bit of insomnia for those 2 weeks. And my libido vanished. I had no desire to even think about sex or naked people. And then that faded as well. So all of these were weird little symptoms that I had. I still get anxiety, by the way. I still get nervous, I still panic sometimes. And it feels physically different now. When I have moments of anxiety, I feel a hot flush, a wave through my body. an intense physical reaction to my anxiety, which I've never felt before. Maybe that's how people without anxiety feel when they get stressed or nervous. I don't know. But I feel hot. My body heats up when I get nervous. But whenever I do get nervous, it's usually in response to something genuine. Something I've forgotten, something I missed. Panicking about locking myself out of my flat. Something that would genuinely make someone nervous or stressed. But I can cope with it. And I can move on afterwards. Forget about it. I don't dwell on things. I'm not sure how long I've been talking for, but I really hope that this has helped. Being on anti-anxiety, antidepressant medication has saved my life, but just as importantly, it has enhanced my life. It has allowed me to see the wood for the trees. It has given me energy. It has filled my life with, as I said, those two feelings of love and anger. Righteous political anger. And love for all of the things that I enjoy doing, all the people in my life, and most importantly, my job. I feel energized. I feel like I used to when I was younger, when I was a goofy kid. But I'm also smarter now, and more eager to do things with my life. It's an incredible feeling. So, if you're feeling depressed or anxious, and you've wondered what it would be like to go on medication that might help you, all I'll say is that it has changed me. It's made everything better. I hope this has helped at least one person out there. Medication, therapy, talking about things, all of these can save lives. They have saved countless lives in the past and they will continue to do so. And I'm one of those people. I feel great. Subscribe for books.